what it's like to be on TV. You've got 2 seconds. So right now, I'd like to invite you to stand if you're able, and we will sing our way into this service.
In the name of love, with a heart of grace, overflow in us, decorate this place. As it is below, so it is above. May we always stand in the name of love. When the veil is gone, there's only one of us, only one, in the name of love. When the day is done, we will sing this song all as one, in the name of love, in the name of love. May we always be seeking out the best till we are free, living in a world we've been dreaming of, where we stand as one, in the name of love. When the veil is gone, there's only one of us, only one, in the name of love. When the day is done, we will sing this song all as one, in the name of love. When the veil is gone, when the veil is gone, there's only one of us, only one, in the name of love. When the day is done, we will sing this song all as one, in the name of love, in the name of love. In the name of love, in the name of love, in the name of love, in the name of love. Sing it out, in the name of love. In the name of love, 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 in the name of love. Well, good morning, everyone. Take a minute to greet some of those friendly faces out there. In the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud Oh, well, we would like to invite our children up, whoever's here today, to join our teacher up on the stage. We're going to sing them out to their classroom. This beautiful day to wander the woods. We're going to sing Hooray for the World. We're glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, it's a special place. We got Mother Nature and the human race. The world's got trees and bumblebees, rivers and lakes and the open seas, mountains and valleys and animals too, and a sun that shines on me and you. Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, it's a special place. We got Mother Nature and the human race. We got Mother Nature and the human race.
Hello, human race. Some of you. My name's Leo Brody. I'm a practitioner here, and I'm the practitioner of the day, but I'm supported by Wanda, who's also a practitioner, and you can tell us by the stoles that we wear. And if you see one of us wearing a stole during the service, that means you can approach us and ask a question. You can ask us for prayer. There's a lot of ways that we love to support you in prayer, because that's really what we're all about here. And if you want to, you can write out a prayer request and put it in there's a little porcelain jar in the back there, and we will pray. When we find that piece of paper, we will pray for you. Give that prayer up to Spirit to do the work. So let's turn within right now and bless this service. I know that there is one mind that operates as and through the universe, that operates as and through every one of us. And that Spirit is blessed with infinite wisdom, infinite grace, infinite love, peace, all the qualities that we call divine qualities are in that Spirit that lives and operates through us and needs us to act and be, carrying those intentions, bringing the highest good into fruition in the world. And that's really all we have to do. We have to just turn on the switch and let the current flow. So I know that this service is sacred and blessed. It will be perfect. We will all get what we need from the service. We'll hear exactly what we need to hear. And with that, I am grateful, and so it is.
Oh, let me feel inner peace from my center, from the center of me. Oh, let me feel inner peace from my center, from the center of me. Let's sing that again. Oh, let me feel inner peace from my center, from the center of me. Oh, let me feel inner peace from my center, from the center of me. My heart is open. My heart is open. I am awake. There is no center, from the center of me. Let me feel that inner peace. Oh, let me feel inner peace from my center, from the center of me. Oh, let me feel inner peace from my center, from the center of me. My heart is open, I am awake. There is a knowing of love, love, love. My heart is open, I am awake. There is a knowing of love, love, love. My heart is open, my heart is open, I am awake. There is a knowing of love, love, love. Oh, let me feel inner peace from the center, from the center of me. Well, this month, the theme is all about transformation. And if you know anything about transformation, you might also have experienced the not knowing how it's all going to unfold in your life. And this song dropped into me just a couple mornings ago, and it felt right to bring it today. So it's been a mantra that's been sticking with me. And so we're gonna sing it for y'all, and hope you will join in. I may not know every step to where I'm going. I may not know every step to where I'm going. I may not know every step to where I'm going. I may not know every step to where I'm going. Let's sing that again. I may not know every step to where I'm going. I may not know every step to where I'm going. I may not know every step to where I'm going. I may not know every step to where I'm going. But I will find my way. Yes, I will find my way. I will find my way. Yes, I will find my way. I may not know every step to where I'm going. I may not know every step to where I'm going. I may not know every step to where I'm going. I may not know every step to where I'm going. But I will find my way. Yes, I will find my way. I will find my way. Yes, I will find my way. every step to where I'm going. I may not know every step to where I'm going. I may not know every step to where I'm going. I may not know every step to where I'm going. I will find my way. I will find my way. Yes, I will find my way. I will find my way. Yes, I will find my way. I'll find my way. I will find my way. Yes, I will find my way. I will find my way. Yes, I will find my way. I will find my way. Yes, I will find my way.
Yeah, that nailed it. The topic for the month is transformation at the base. There's a lot of bass in that. Different kinds, but you know. Welcome, welcome. Glad you're here. Because it's a new month, transformation at the base, I'm talking about Inside Out. Has anybody seen that first movie, Inside Out? Raise your hands. Yes, and how about Inside Out 2? Incredible, both of them, incredible. I know I'm a therapist person, but still, it just nailed everything about what's inside of us. But I'm not going to talk about it today. I tried, but I'm too tired. I kept wanting, you know, but that's what I wanted to talk about, but and nothing would come. So what did come is a story I'd never heard, and it has to do with what transformation at the base actually means in the science of mind. So, you know, I'm going to use a metaphor because it's hard to talk about. Maybe you've found that when you're trying to discuss spirituality with your friends or your family, even harder. So imagine that there is an underground river. It's a big river, but it's completely hidden from view. And every once in a while, there's an opening in the earth, and spelunkers find their way into these caves and lower themselves down, and they find themselves on the shore of this hidden river. And in spiritual terms, that's an incredibly apt metaphor for what's happening in you and me. There's a wellspring, a river flowing through us of spirit, but it's hidden from view. And many of the people in our lives, including the people that raised us maybe, didn't even know it was there. They didn't know. And so they were walking on the earth without having any access to this incredible flow of spirit that was running there anyway. And so it's not that it stopped. It was running in all of us. It always has and it always will be, and in everything that is. But when we know that it's there, it's a whole different thing. It's like the energy of that river flowing in us can be accessed in a more conscious way. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. And I found this story that I'd never heard about Carl Jung. And you remember, he was the Swiss psychoanalyst. He was first a student of Sigmund Freud, and then not because he wanted to be, but then a rival of Sigmund Freud, because as he developed in his own understanding of his base, the wellspring of river that was flowing in him, and understanding how to access that, he realized that Freud was a little hooked. He was a little caught up with sexuality. You may have noticed that if you've studied Freud. Everything had a sexual thing. And you know, Carl Jung was like, that's not it, for him. So they split. When they split, it was a dark night of the soul for Jung, because this had been his mentor, his teacher. It's just terrible. And so during that time, and it was a period of years that he kind of went into this deep, dark place, and I'm sure we've all been there at one time or another for shorter or longer periods of time, hopefully for you shorter. But during this time, he learned a lot about himself. And one of the things that happened to him is this story that he tells. So remember, he's in Switzerland. He's seeing clients. He's an amazing healer, very unconventional, very amazing. I could tell you story after story because he was kind of my idol, because I would read these stories and I'd go, but how, as a new therapist, but how did he do that? I never did figure it out. So he liked to go to Italy. Who doesn't, right? And you're in Switzerland. It's not like hours and hours away. It's like just a few hours by train, hardly. So he went to Ravenna, I never know how to say that. And he was fascinated by the mosaics there that dated from like early Christianity. They would build these incredible baptistries and tombs for Christian martyrs and things like that with this incredible mosaic work. And so it had been about 20 years since he'd been there, and this was during the dark time. He decided to go back. And he had gone in 1913, and so 20 years later he goes back. And he's visiting the mausoleum of Galla Placidia, which he'd visited before. But as he was visiting the tomb and the baptistry, he was surprised to see 4 mosaic frescoes, as he calls them, that he didn't remember seeing the first time around. Most significantly, because he was a Christian, most significantly, a scene of Jesus holding out his hand to rescue Peter, who had attempted to walk on water like Christ, but after a moment of doubt was sinking beneath the waves. So this is actually one of the stories in the Bible. So he sees this mosaic. Jung and his travel companion spent much time discussing the mosaics. When they left the baptistry, Jung tried to find photographs. This is before a lot of cameras were available, right? So he's trying to find photographs of the mosaic frescoes in the nearby religious shop, but they didn't have any. He returned home to Switzerland empty-handed, but asked a friend who was heading to the same place to pick up the search. Jung described in detail what he saw, and the man came back and said that all 4 of the frescoes Jung thought he saw simply didn't exist. It was a monumental lesson for Jung. Writing about what he saw many years later, Jung recalled the scenes vividly. The blue water, the chips of mosaic, Peter reaching out to Christ to be rescued. Those images brought Jung healing. At the time of the visit, he felt he was drowning, at odds with himself. As he writes in his memoir, the same thing happened to me as to Peter, who cried for help and was rescued by Jesus. What he was sure he saw brought to consciousness essential pieces of his personality. He felt whole again. And then it goes on from there, and the person that he was traveling with saw them too. They discussed them in detail. But then when the man went back, wasn't there. Now, you probably don't want to tell that to your skeptical friends. But what I think about that is that things happen to us sometimes at the right moment, at a time of deep need sometimes, or a time of tremendous illumination that can't be explained in this world of ours from standing on the ground not knowing about the river. And yet, when we know that there's this other thing happening that's feeding us and nourishing us and is accessible to us whenever we want, then those kind of stories make a lot of sense to me. And so, as I was thinking about it, I've been working with this, the Zen people would call it a koan. I've been working with this saying that I read that, I can't even say his name. It's not Plutarch, but it's one of those philosophers from long, long ago. And he said, numinosity is a necessary part of luminosity, and I'll add, sacred humans have both. So I've been, and then he goes on and he says, we are made perfect by numen and lumen. And I actually had to look up numen, because it's like, what is that word? I mean, numinous, but what's numen? And numen means the spirit of something, that we all carry a spirit, that the rocks and the trees and the rivers, everything carries a spirit. And for sacred humans, this is what I'm getting out of my thinking about that phrase, we are made perfect by the numen and the lumen. I was like, I've been working with this for a couple weeks, so this may not make any sense to you, but to me what it means is that when we start to tap into the underground flow of spirit, and we actually begin to lead a spiritual life, where we're focusing on that as well as what's above ground, as well as the mundane, we're inviting ourselves to really be spiritual spelunkers and go land on the shore of that river and allow it to nourish us. And you've been by a river where the negative ions, according to scientists, the numen, according to my ancient philosopher, the numen is such that no matter how you've been feeling, you're lifted into this other place of peace and openness. So that's the numen. And so it became of interest to me to really begin to play with this concept of what is my spirit? And the other part of his quote is, the numen needs the lumen. So lumen, for us as sacred humans, is our ability to shine light. And this is an ancient metaphor. Old. You go back to the earliest writings of the Sumerians and the Egyptians and the Phoenicians and the Greeks, and there's these metaphors about humans, sacred humans, emitting light. And of course, we all know the paintings with the halos, the crown chakra from ancient India. But it's this thing that when we pay attention, you can actually begin to feel with other people is how much luminosity they're able to emit. And so that has always been of interest to me. But then you add the spirit of us, like your spirit, to your luminosity. And this ancient philosopher is saying we are made perfect in that. So it's a question of like, well, okay, great. These philosopher types, I don't know how they lived, because, do you make money saying things like that? I don't know. But for me, it's like, all right, how? Again, just like Jung. Okay, great. How? Don't you want to know that too? It's not just me, right? So for me, the science of mind is a perfect answer to how. Because the whole philosophy is based on this incredible belief that there is a vast energetic field of possibility that is available to us all of the time, the river, available to us all the time, and it simply always says yes to whatever it is that we are focusing on deeply. Fortunately, not shallowly, because, I don't know if you've ever been in a car and been cut off. You don't want what you're thinking to actually manifest. But at a deep level, what we think about deeply, what we believe deeply, this energetic field of responsiveness says, okay, sure, that's your reality then. You believe that? That's yours. And this is both the good news and the bad news, because the people that didn't know about the river that many of us were taught by, they didn't know the consequences of activating this responsive field of energy when they taught us to be afraid, when they taught us to be anxious, when they taught us not to trust, when they taught us that there wasn't enough, when they taught us that we weren't good enough. Now, maybe your people didn't do that, but most people had, touches of that here and there, and sometimes deep, deep beliefs, offered and accepted that we're now working with, because the river of responsive energy turns that into what happens in our life. So if we're not good enough, we have ample opportunities to have that reinforced. If we don't feel like we can trust anything, the whole world becomes untrustworthy. And we can find example after example after example. If we're not, if we're sure that scarcity is the truth, there's not enough, there won't be. And as simplistic as this sounds, it's actually not, because it's absolutely individual. You're sitting next to someone who has a very unique manifestation process going on with the amount of Newman and Lumen that they have discovered and blended to bring out into their life. The next person next to you may be thinking and believing and experiencing an incredibly abundant universe where everywhere they go, they are gifted with beauty and friendship and love and you name it. And then on the other side of you might be someone that their whole belief is, oh, I can't quite get there. And every experience feels that way. And so it becomes really critical when all of a sudden in the spelunking spiritually that we do, we realize that, oh my goodness, dare I say, oh God, I really need to pay attention to what I'm thinking and feeling and believing into, because it's turning into my life. That's what it is. And so we begin to transform at the base of our consciousness. That's what this whole month is going to be about, is talking about the base of consciousness, where these deeply held beliefs continue to generate a certain aspect of reality, and we can change it. We really can. There's a lot of work being done in the psychological field about this, but spirituality has known this all along. And, there's so many different ways to do that. But basically in the science of mind, one of the things you keep hearing the practitioners up here on Sunday offer is prayer, because prayer sort of activates this flow of energy, this incredible responsiveness in your favor in a different way. Will it instantaneously change decades of believing a certain way? Yes. Sometimes. Does it sometimes take more prayer and more study and more paying attention to what's actually being spoken down there, inside you? Yeah. I've never stopped. And I've been in this teaching since I was 18. So yeah, the work is ongoing, but it's different as we change, as we transform. It becomes more and more joyous. And you meet people like me who have been doing this for so long, and when something comes up to look at, it's not expletive deleted, it's, oh, wow, all right, let's go, And so I invite you to really consider you have this incredible energy flowing in you. And this luminous ability to be. And so drop in. Go on an adventure. Find out where that river is and hang out on that shore, because you'll be nourished, you'll be transformed. And I'll do a prayer for that. There's no question in my mind that there is a powerful presence, a flow of spirit that never stops, that is fully flowing always. I am aware that sometimes I experience that vast flow as a trickle, but that has nothing to do with spirit. And so I remember again that available to me, available to anyone listening, there is this vast field of possibility, always and ever flowing. It responds by corresponding. It brings to me that which I deeply believe and hold to be true. And so right now in this moment, I know what is true is that there is a spirit in me that is very uniquely expressing, and that I am made of star stuff, of light, and combining the numinous quality of spirit in me with the incredible light of understanding that I've been given allows me to move forward in my life right now and from this day forward, open, joyous, experiencing deep, rich support, and transforming effortlessly, because there's no resistance in me anymore. There's nothing saying you can't or you shouldn't or you mustn't. Instead, I'm like, all right, let's go. I'm ready. I want to experience luminosity in my life, the joy of living, the joy of being here. So I'm open to transformation at the base, allowing it to happen seamlessly, effortlessly, and wonderfully in me. And if you feel the same, then all you need to do is join me in saying, thank you, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Well, that was fun. I hope you liked it. I did. Right now is the time for the offertory, and I want to thank you very much for sharing your abundance with the center. We are because you are, and you are because we are. So thank you very much.
I'm open to receive all the good that is from me. I am open to receive perfect love and harmony. I am open to receive abundance and prosperity. I am open to receive all the good that is for me. I am open to receive all the good that is for me. I am open to receive perfect love and harmony. I am open to receive abundance and prosperity. I am open to receive all the good that is for me. Open to receive all the good that is for me. I am open to receive perfect love and harmony. I am open to receive abundance and prosperity. I am open to receive all the good that is for me. I am open to receive all the good that is for me.
All right. Now I'm going to frame this next part. So if you got here after the service started, today is the first day that we're hearing from our transition core team about the plan for moving, I don't want to say moving me out. That doesn't sound right. But you know, I'm going to be retiring December 31st, and there's a plan for transition. This particular report is the first of reports, so it's going to be longer than all the rest of them. And these reports will be given the first Sunday of every month until we're done transitioning, I guess. And so today, one of the transition core team, Rhonda Biggs, our board member and also one of our practitioners, is going to be sharing with you the plan. All right, Rhonda.
Well, good morning and welcome. As Dr. Andrea mentioned, I'm Rhonda Biggs, and I'm a practitioner here, and I'm also serving as an adjunct board member. So I'm happy to offer this update today, and goody for me that I get to do the really long one, so thank you for your indulgence. The board members do have a variety of liaison roles, and my liaison role is to help support the transition process for our center. And as Dr. Andrea mentioned, she will be retiring here at the end of 2024. And so, in a good way, in a good way. So in preparation for the transition, the Board of Trustees has already been taking some actions to help shepherd our community through the process. And Dr. Andrea has been getting peppered with some questions about updates, and this enthusiasm and interest, I always feel like is a wonderful thing, because that's a demonstration of people's interest and caring and enthusiasm. So that's a wonderful thing. It signals a lot of good work in our community already. So on behalf of the board, I'd like to offer the update, and it will be a little bit longer than the usual thread of Sunday announcements, but I would like to first begin by saying thank you for that. Those offers to help, because it is wonderful to have already a base, speaking of transformation, and having a base of love and care in our community is a pretty special thing. So this experience of a ministerial and a community transition, it is a process. So my intention today is to share that bigger picture of what's been happening, and then kind of whittle that down so you know where we are in this moment. And if you think about big picture, it might be helpful to think about things in phases in relation to time. So we're a bit in phase one, which is this time now until the end of 2024 with Dr. Andrea's retirement. And Dr. Andrea has given our community the gift of time, so she's not a 2-week notice kind of person. We've got some time, which is really pretty amazing when you think about transforming and transitioning an entire organization and this community of people. So we have this gift, and so this phase one is really about how do we make the most of that time with Dr. Andrea in her time that she has left as our senior minister. So some of you may already know, but Dr. Andrea has played a pivotal role, obviously as our senior minister, but also she's served as the board president for some time. And so this is part of this transition that's already started, that Dr. Andrea has stepped away from being the board president, and we have Dan Dietrich, who is serving as the president of the board. So, yay! Dan. And so that's really an example where Dr. Andrea has a lot of tasks and responsibility that she's performing on a day-to-day basis. And at some point, she will not be in that role. So by her stepping away from being board president, Dan gets to serve in that role and really start to have the board come more front and center as Dr. Andrea starts to back up. So it helps to ensure that there's not some gaps in operation in that way. So Dr. Andrea and Dan in particular have been in communication with the main Centers for Spiritual Living, which we lovingly call the home office, and it has a field services division. And that field services division, it focuses on supporting communities in transition, particularly around ministerial recruitment and selection and interim minister placement processes. And field services is going to really help guide our operational transition, but also it has ways of putting things in place that supports us as a community for the people, because this is a big deal for us too, individually and as a whole. So for me, I take some comfort in thinking about the home office has a process in place that helps our whole center as an entity, plus us as the people a part of that community, move forward together. And I'm actually taking some comfort in that, because that's not something that I've seen in place in the same way in years past. So I'm very heartened by that, actually. So President Dan and the board, we've had an opportunity to meet already with the field services director, who is Reverend Julie Lobato. And Julie's helped given us an overview of what resources are available with field services, the support, instructional materials in both of those realms. So what you'll see is phase 1 will feel very minister-centric. You are the center. It will feel minister-centric and sort of administrative-centric that way, but that helps us with that operational piece. And one of the most significant things that the board has really completed working through is there's a checklist that's called Best Practices for Communities in Transformation, and that comes from field services. And so this will give you an idea of some things that the board has had to go through and ensure. So it's things like, are our educational records up to date and registered with the education department? Are our membership lists up to date and registered with the home office? Are our financial documents and our budget, have we reviewed those things? Are there ministerial letters of call or staff contracts? Are those set in place? So by doing that, we're able to demonstrate to field services in the home office a little bit more about who we are and the status of our center and the health of that and the management practices that we have in place. And I will just say, we look good. Thank you. And thank you to past and present boards and folks that are volunteering and in service, because there's really a lot of foundational pieces that are in place. And so our center really is looking good. So the board has worked through this bigger checklist with field services and putting some things in place there. So a little bit more specifically, as we come down to this point of August, September, and October, field services is going to help us identify a candidate or candidates for an interim minister who will serve in the time between Dr. Andrea's leaving and when a new senior minister is hired. And that will be dependent on availability of an interim minister and also what our community needs are. And so field services will work with President Dan and the board in finalizing that appointment. And Dr. Andrea, you've had some nice ways of summarizing kind of what is an interim minister, and would you mind?
So the interim ministers are all senior ministers who have retired. And so they've already been in a center, they've already done that work. And the rule with interim ministry is you cannot apply for the center that you're serving, which is infinitely wise, because of course, you know, we would want there to be someone here who can help us walk from my administration, my ministry, and my senior ministerness into being open to the next person. And there is this time frame, and it's a little woozy. I don't know if you're going to talk about that.
It's a great word.
Yeah. It depends on how strong we stay as a community and how willing we are to love me in a different way and love a new person in to be our new senior minister. And I do say "are" because many people have said to me, well, are you leaving the area? And I'm like, no, Joe and I love it here. We love this community. But one of the things about this transition time is, through bitter experience, we have learned I need to not be here for a while. so that whoever the interim is and then the new minister can have a chance to get to know you all and be with you all, and you can love them. And then, like Colleen and Bob, I can come back and be a part of the community and support, but in a lesser role, you know. The word's out on Joe. We're waiting for the interim minister to say, can Joe stay? Because you may have noticed we're very different people. You know, we do different things here because we love the community. So we'll see about him. Did I say it all?
Beautiful.
Great. More time.
Oh, that's great. No, and that's helpful because that frames a little bit about why this period of time with phase one is so important for the board to feel like it has an established sense of managing our center and the organization, because there will be a point in time when Dr. Andrea leaves and an interim comes in for a period of time. And the good news is field services helps us through that. So field services will work with the board with that transition. It has examples developing a letter of call, how to think about salary, negotiating transportation, because that person will be coming in and out of our community in that way during that interim time.
You know, I forgot.
Oh.
They are usually here 2 Sundays a month, and they stay in the week between the interim. And they teach classes, and they're available to all of you all month, but the board hires them, and they're appointed for being here part of the time, and then we'll have guest speakers.
So the transition team hopes to have the interim minister identified with field services by mid-fall, so we can plan into 2025 with that person. And then certainly that person needs to change their life too in making our community a priority for them as well. So there are really 4 areas, 4 subcommittees that the board is now looking at, and the first one is a small group of board members that are working with field services on that interim minister transition process. There's a second committee group that actually is already in place, and that's our own center's budget committee. We've had a long-standing, highly functional budget committee that really supports the minister and the board in long-term forecasting, visioning, and the day-to-day budgetary needs of the center. It's really an asset that we already have that in place, because that's going to be important to carry on the financial perspective of the center, but that budget committee will start to have a little bit of an eye towards what are the unique needs in this transition process. So we'll be working with that interim minister, and there'll be different kinds of costs that are typically associated with that. And so that we have a budget committee in place, right on, that's an excellent asset. The third area that the board will set up a subcommittee for is in transition communications. So we know that community members, it's important for us to all stay abreast of what's happening. And so we have some folks, again, already in place who do things like our website design, who are doing social media, who are doing newsletters, who are doing all sorts of elements that help communicate out in different ways. And so this is an example of one of those components that we're adding in, of having first Sunday of the month, a designated update time during the Sunday service. So it will not be as long probably in the future. Thank you so much. But it's important because these sessions during Sunday service get recorded. And so if you're not able to make it, or for folks who are not near here in the center, you can still go back and know that those updates are going to be presented in this way. And then we'll be creative about some other ways in the future. So we're starting that communications process as well. And then the fourth thing of great interest, because frankly we like to party, is going to be, there's going to be a board group that's focused on Dr. Andrea's celebration and recognition process. And so we know that we want to celebrate Dr. Andrea and Joe in many ways. And so we're going to have a smaller group of board members that are going to make some connections initially with Dr. Andrea and kind of think about what might some of those celebratory moments be, and how can the community be a part of those things, and then also find out from Dr. Andrea how she would like to celebrate with us, because this is really a part of her process and closure too. And so there's that mutual senses of recognition and celebration. And so those are the 4 areas: the transition, budget, communications, and celebration that we'll be looking at in the future. And so how can I help has been a great question. And I will say for now, really, in this moment, things are handled and covered, which is, takes the pressure off. So the wonderful thing is the board is really digging into this time with Dr. Andrea and field services. And so take some good comfort in that. And as opportunities we know down the road for different community engagement and input and participation, it's going to come. And so the board will help let us all know how we can continue to do that along the way. And as a final note, I would love to just echo some things that Dr. Andrea shared in her talk today. But as a practitioner, I would be remiss if I didn't offer the opportunity that there is always something that every one of us can do now, which is pray. And to offer that prayer and those affirmations for us within this context of a spiritual community is incredibly important. And to hold a high watch of our community and our center and all the people that may be coming and going with it in the coming time, and to think about doing that in some light and love, and to echo a sentiment you were sharing, what we are all to become, we are already being. So how are we in this space of what is it that we want to become as individuals and as a community, and that we are already being that? So how we incorporate prayer and that thoughtful affirmation into this entire process right now, each of us has that power to contribute in that way at any time. So I thank you for that, and I thank you for your prayers. I will be around after service, as will Reverend Deborah. Dan, we know who you are. We will also be asking Dan, but we'll be able to answer some questions if you've got some. We may or may not know the answer, but we'll do our best if you have questions along the way. But thank you for your patience today with this longer sharing, and blessings, and thank you.
You know, one of the most magnificent things as a teacher is to see my students in action. And the board, the practitioners, and you are all holding such a high consciousness and such a transparent one. Here's your water, come get it. I'm just very proud of our community and how we're doing this. It's so good. So a couple other announcements real short. The men's group, of course, is meeting next week, and they have a very special opportunity. We have a man in our community, Robert Bystrom, who has developed a very beautiful, it's called a game, but it's a conversational opportunity to envision the most beautiful world. And the men are going to be trial running it at the men's group this next Sunday. So whether you've been there before or not, I would invite you to go and be a part of it. Christy Mosley, who's a friend of ours, is offering a fundraiser for the center on Sunday the 18th after service in the Lower Meadow under the octagonal tent. And you can buy tickets for that event at her website, mysticheartbeats.com. And then I'd like to invite Reverend Colleen to stand, please. There's Colleen right there. Way shower in this transition for me. Reverend Colleen is teaching a really incredible short 4-week Back to Basics class that starts in just a few weeks here in August. And it's a perfect lead-in to the 2 classes that I'll be teaching in September and November. And it has to do with really kind of dropping into that river of spirit and learning how to navigate on the raft of your own being. So she has a lot of very practical, pragmatic practices and deep understanding of our teaching. And the class is offered on a love-honoring basis. It's basically free. And so we want you to come. And especially if you're considering taking a class with me, I want you to go and be a part of Reverend Colleen's class, because it's kind of like a starter thing. It's kind of like the greenhouse for the rest of the planting that'll be happening later in the fall. So do join her. There's a sign-up sheet in the at the Ask Me desk in the classroom there. And also, Not our event, but I wanted you to know, because we stopped doing women's retreats from CSL. There's a group of people that includes some organizers from our center that are putting on a women's retreat in the fall, September 25th through the 29th at Seebeck, which is a beautiful retreat center out on the peninsula. And I'd like to have Ann Smith stand, please. This is Ann. Oops, there she goes. There's one of the organizers. And if you have questions for Ann and would like more information on registration, because registration is happening now, you can talk to Ann after the service as well. Let's see, I think that's enough for today. What do you think? So why don't we, if you're able, stand and we will sing into the day.
For the sun that warms this body, for the earth that we call home, for the love that knows no boundaries, I am thankful. For the trees that line the mountains, for the sea and life it holds, for the source of inspiration, I am thankful. Love and life, fill me up. Love, light, life, fill me up. Peace, power, beauty, joy, fill me up. For the one infinite, divine that is and ever was, I am thankful. I am thankful for abundance and growing, for the mystery unfolding, for each and every being, sacred truth that we are knowing, for kindness and compassion and the courage to take action, for the law of attraction and the freedom to create. Love, light, life, fill me up. Peace, power, beauty, joy, fill me up. For the one infinite, divine that is and never was, I am thankful. I am thankful. Love and light, sing it out. Love, light, life, fill me up. Peace, power, beauty, joy, fill me up. For the one infinite, divine that is and never was, I am thankful. I am thankful for the sun that warms this body, for the earth that we call home, for the love that knows no boundaries. I am thankful. And so thankful for this community. You have a wonderful week, and we'll see you soon.